Hello, spiritual events and directory watchers here on Facebook. My name is Kelly Kingston and I'm joined with...
Hi, I'm Graham Donnelly.
And we are talking about the future of business with you tonight. And one of our favourite topics tonight is why small businesses fail in business.
Wow, the stats are incredible, Kel. I think it's something like 82% of small businesses fail. I know you've got some more numbers there, which I think are really relevant. Maybe you could go into those.
Yeah, so I have printed out the latest statistics that were brought out 14 days ago about why small businesses are failing in business. And I just want to go through and read some things with you, if that's okay. I'll just pull these up. So, statistics are saying that 82% of small businesses are failing business today due to the major issue is cash flow problems. Now, being an accountant, Graham, and a business strategist, you would see that a lot.
Yeah, it happens quite regularly and there's a lot of reasons for that. And I think there's a couple of other stats that you've got here.
Yeah.
For example, one of the main ones, and it's quoted here, it's 79% fail because they started their business with too little money.
Yeah.
So they're already behind the 8 ball before they start. So they're always struggling to keep up. Eventually, things get out of hand. So that's a really important one as well.
Yeah, so that's like the old scenario, paying Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah.
It goes from one hand to the next. And if they wanted to bring in, just something or something else pops up, a bill that comes out of nowhere, they're the rule breakers for small business owners. Now, I've got 4 more here. So other reasons is 78% of small businesses lack a well-developed business plan. Now, I don't know too many people in small business that actually even use it or know how to put a business plan together. And this is a vital, critical point in starting your business. When you actually start a business, this should be the first thing you do. And I know this scares off a lot of people because I've spoken to a lot of people about this. A business plan is essential, okay? 78% of businesses fail because they do not have a business plan in any way, shape or form.
It's the old story, isn't it? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Yeah.
It's so true.
You say that a lot. And we have business plans. 77% fail because they didn't price themselves properly into the market. Now, if you had a good business plan, your business plan actually has this pricing section in your business plan. So if you had your business plan and then you did the pricing aspect and did your research and development as part of your business plan, there's no way you could not price yourself into the market so that you could then be sustainable and then be in the competitive market with the industry that you're actually in business to. Yeah?
Totally. A lot of people go into business thinking they have to be the cheapest in the market, and I actually don't agree with that at all. Yeah. There's a point where you can actually charge more, provide greater value, yeah, and make a profit on every sale or every transaction, and you're going to be there in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years time, and that's important.
Yeah, and here we go. So we have people that are that are lacking the confidence in pricing themselves into the market. But then on the other scale, we have 73% of people in business fail because they're overly optimistic about achieving those hairy, audacious goals that they set for themselves in the first 6 to 12 months. So they're not doing their research and development in being, in pricing themselves into the market. They're being like over optimistic about, I'm so good, I'm going to put myself out at this price without not having any following, marketing, sales, operations plans, nothing. So
I think there's a lot of ego in that too, Kelly, and what people do is they whenever we're helping clients with, financial projections of any sort, whether they're startups or existing, we always are very, very conservative on our income projections. And if anything, very heavy on our expense projections. So we kind of come up with what, is really a worst case scenario, and then it gives you something to aim for. So that's really important. And it's, those numbers are so high.
Yeah, and so the last one, and this is just the top 5 that I researched. So we're going at 70% fail in business because they don't recognise or accept their weaknesses and don't seek help from others. So if you had a business plan and you worked on the aspects of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats, you're focusing on this area first up. This is like the first part of a business plan is working out your SWOT analysis, and that is your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities and your threats. Would you agree? Totally.
It's been an acronym that's been around forever.
Yeah.
So it's again so important to recognise those things and to be critical of yourself in some aspects, but also look at the opportunities and your strengths so that you can capitalise on them.
Yeah.
So the idea is that we capitalise on those things and enhance them. But if we recognise that there are some weaknesses and some possible threats, then we've got a plan to mitigate the effects of those if they come up.
Yeah. So when you're a starter in business, and you have a lot of people, some people will support you, some people may not. The people that will support you, and everyone that has supported me in my business has always said, don't give up, keep trying, keep sticking to your plans. And you can have a plan, okay, but sometimes that plan doesn't work, and that's why we go back and we revise the business plan. And I know you're going to talk about a little bit about that afterward, very, very soon.
Yeah.
In turning the struggling businesses that are just not cash flow positive, or they're not, helping you leap out of bed in the morning. Because if you're not doing something that you love in business, then you know what, it's not worth doing at all. Okay?
Oh, absolutely. Passion and purpose are very important in any plan.
Yeah.
And I know that that's one of the focuses that you really concentrate on when you're working with your clients, is to really nail that down.
Yeah.
So that you know exactly where you're at.
Absolutely, it's vital. It's so important. It's not funny. So now I'm going to get Graham to talk about 10 steps in how you can turn a struggling business around that supports you in your business. Okay. So Graham, what is one of the first things to do to turn a struggling business around?
Sure. I think if I could just take one little step back and define a struggling business, I define a struggling business that is a business that's just not living up to your expectations. So it doesn't have to be necessarily struggling in terms of about to fail. However, it may not be living up to your expectations. And a lot of people go into business thinking it's going to create them, a great life, and they're going to have more time and more money. And what it actually does is quite the opposite. It actually becomes a burden. And a lot of the things that we find are very consistent with every case.
Yeah.
So I've got a very it's not an all-inclusive list, but it's 10 points that I find that are very important that we consider. And the first one of those, guess what? First one is make sure that you have a proper business plan that has all of the angles covered. Yeah. Operations, sales, marketing, cash flow, the whole thing is all dealt with. Yeah. And if you didn't have one when you started, then don't be one of the 82%. Get one started, because this is what's going to help you come out of being in that struggle zone and into where you want to be, into abundance. Yeah, so absolutely. It's absolutely the very first thing that you would need to do. Take stock of where you're at and create a plan to move forward.
Yeah. And even if you are in business and you've been in business for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, and you go, hey gosh, I don't know how long I can actually keep doing this. That is a perfect time to be able to create a business plan, because you've already been in business for a little while now, you can already start noticing your strengths and your weaknesses, the opportunities. You just don't know how to go after the opportunities, and then the threats. And you know what threats are? You know, things that we can't control, which is like the locus of control, what we can control, what we can influence, and what we can't influence. So, yeah, like business plans are critical. And I'm just going to quickly share a quick story with you. Being a practitioner of over 20 years, I never, ever did a business plan. And I really loved what I did, but I didn't know how to take my business to that next level. So I didn't know what to do. I really didn't. And it wasn't until, you know, Graham and I got together, and he supported me with my weaknesses, I supported him with his weaknesses, and together we became really strong. And Graham taught me the fundamentals of business. I did actually step out of my practitioner business to actually work together, but 5 years into that, I kind of had my aha moment about how I could support small business owners in the wellness industry, in the spiritual wellness industry, or business in general, stay in business and be successful so that you can sustain yourselves and your family. So that's when I wrote my business planning book, The Ultimate Business Guide for Wellness Business Owners. What frequency is your business vibrating at? And it is a 13-chapter book that supports every single step for a wellness business owner, step by step by step, so you can get the best out of creating a business plan. It's not heavy, it's not something to be fearful about, it's something to embrace, because you are, what you're thinking up here, you're actually putting down on paper, and it's coming from a heart space because you really know what you want from your business. It's just not providing for you. But if you have it all there, you should, it just should be absolutely amazing. And if you stick to it, you really need to stick to it and not connect to the next shiny thing, because that's one of my biggest things, wasn't it? Because I'm a creative profile and I love creating, and I just go, oh, everybody's doing this, I might just create this business, and then I'd create it, and then I'd just go, oh, that wasn't part of my business plan, and then it would just all come crumbling down. So
part of the planning process is about nailing focus, isn't it? It's about honing in on those things that are really, really important. And if there are any of our sort of listeners and watchers out there who aren't familiar with your book, it's a very interactive book. It's a workbook as opposed to a novel, which is very practical. They really need to, reach out and get hold of it.
Yeah, so it's actually, my book is with the publishers at the moment. So we're restructuring the book. So the copy should be available by the end of February. But if anybody wants to book a business audit so that they can actually sit with somebody and reflect back on where they are in their business, we have questionnaire sheets, financial snapshots, and really start digging deep, okay, where are you now? What can we do to get you to where you want to be? And what are your goals, your missions, your visions, your values, your objectives? All that stuff needs to be covered step by step by step by step to be very successful in businesses. Because small business owners love what they do, fearful of planning in their business because they fear to fail to plan. And big corporates all have their business plans, their corporate advisors, their business mentors, the CEOs, and all these people. Why do you think that they're so successful? Why?
Well, the main reason is they actually plan.
Exactly.
So they plan to succeed.
Yeah.
Once you have your business plan, I think the next step that we like to get people to do is we get all the stakeholders of the business together, usually in the same room. By stakeholders, I mean the shareholders, the investors, anyone who has a financial or emotional interest in the business. Yeah. We get them all together. And once we have them together, we go through the plan basically and make sure that we communicate the plan. So the next step, number 3, is that we actually then go back to the plan and revise it.
Yes.
So that we make sure it's an optimal plan and that everything that we do moving forward is for the best.
Yeah, and another good thing is what we've done in our business is after we've gone through and spoken to the shareholders or the stakeholders or people that are supporting you in the business, you get other feedback.
Totally.
And so when you get other feedback, you don't feel like you're doing your business on your own. And that doesn't need to be a lot of money to have somebody as, a stakeholder or somebody that wants to support you in your business. And then once you've actually gone through those processes, you then go back to your business plan, revise it, and just see what you could do to make that business plan a little bit better so that you can then implement from a daily, weekly, monthly, et cetera, planning so that everything is implemented.
Sure.
Yeah.
Once we've actually got the stakeholders, we've actually now got a plan that all the stakeholders agree with and are bought into.
Yes.
We then extend that. So we come outside that inner circle and we go to maybe we have employees that are relevant to that conversation. We talk to them. What's working, what's not working, what do you want us as business owners to do more of or less of? And we have that conversation with them.
Yeah.
We then take it out to key customers.
I want to take it back to with the employees. I've been working with some other established businesses and talking to owners that have been in business for quite some time now. And a lot of the business owners or the CEO of these companies are getting the employees to write their own job descriptions. They're getting their employees to fill in different aspects of a business plan for where they currently are in the business to make them feel like they're a part of the business, which I really feel is absolutely amazing, because if you have a really good employee, okay, and you look after them, they are going to be gold. It's very, very hard to find an employee that you can trust, be loyal to, and it works both ways. So I think it's gold.
It absolutely is. The other thing that we like to do is in our conversations with the employees is start to analyse systems and procedures, because employees do leave no matter how good they are. Occasionally they leave for whatever reason, and we need to have systems and procedures in place to make sure that either new employees that come in to support them as the business grows, or even replacements, if that happens, can follow the systems and procedures with minimal of fuss. Yeah,
and another terminology for that is called unique operating systems. So they, and just to define that a little bit for anybody that's watching that doesn't really understand that, a unique operating system is a step-by-step to-do list of procedures that you're doing or need to do during the day. And then underneath, after you've done, it might take you 10 steps. So you have 10 squares, and then you write the steps in those 10 squares. And then underneath, you just have a comments area that can support the flow of those steps and for the processing for the unique operating systems.
I know you do a lot of that with your clients, and they're very valuable. So once we've now got our stakeholders and our employees on the same page, we then go out to our key customers. It's always good to get feedback from our major customers. And a lot of times we've actually set up advisory panels with our clients, and sometimes their key customers are on that panel. Also, apart from customers, we also have the other side of our business, which are our suppliers. So sometimes if we have a key supplier, then it's important to get their feedback into what they see as what's working, because the best thing that we can do for them is to buy more of their product.
Absolutely.
So we get them on board as well.
Yes.
Once we've got all of those sort of pieces of the pie.
The employees, the customers, and the vendors.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Once we've got that sorted, we really need to get your advisors clear. So whether you're using external advisors or whether you believe you have that covered yourself, often one of the weaknesses that we find in businesses is they do think they can do everything. Don't be afraid to seek assistance from people and organisations outside of your network. So get your advisors on board, make sure they understand your plan, and that they can then support you with anything that has to be done from a statutory perspective, from compliance, but also they also can help you with growing your business.
Yeah.
Because they're there, they have experience in other things that you may not.
Exactly right. And so what we mean by advisors are accountants, a business mentor, somebody that can advise you on making a decision before you actually make it and implement it in your business, just to make sure that you've got a second set of eyes or a third set of eyes, how many ever you feel that you need, just so that moving forward, it eliminates making mistakes or, you know.
Absolutely. And people think that there's, I can't afford, you know, a coach. But you can't afford not to. Like, absolutely. You look at every major success story in business, sport, politics, life, they generally have mentors and coaches.
Absolutely. So, Branson, coach and mentor.
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates, coach and mentor.
You name anyone that is a public figure, and you can guarantee they have a coach behind them. Yeah. So it's important to, but part of your planning process is where you've recognised some of your weaknesses, and maybe there's some external people that you can surround yourself with that can help to plug in some of those gaps.
One of my girlfriends call that that they have an A team, which I think is pretty cool. Yeah. Dream teams,
A teams.
Dream teams, A teams, all sorts of
names. All right, so once we've got our advisors on board and we're all heading in the same direction with them, then we need to basically check our finances. So whether that's contact with your bank, with your financier, possibly you have investors, possibly you need new equipment, things like that. You need to have good finance people on toe to have the right information so that you can grow your business strategically. Yes. Not haphazardly, but strategically. Sometimes we need to invest in a few extra resources. So getting our finances in order is a key part of that as well.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree any more with you, Graham. If you are wanting to borrow money to buy a franchise, or you're wanting to start your own business up scratch, and you're needing to borrow money, no bank, no financial institution will lend you any money if you do not have a business plan, okay? Because as part of the business plan that I support all my clients from the wellness business industry, from the spiritual business industry, or just the business industry in general, we do a cash flow projection that comes from the business plan, and that is a forecast cash flow projection. A bit of a long word. So this actually supports you in knowing, okay, I'm going to roll out 5 products or 5 services, and I need 10 clients for each products or services, and that needs to be rolled out for the first 3 to 6 months, so that if I then set all my goals and reach all my goals, then I'm going to reach my financial cash flow target, okay? And then by doing that, then you then know how much money you can borrow to then put everything in place. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I just wanted to touch on that.
Sure. The last couple on our list of, you know, rough list of 10 are all about things that we may not need in our business.
Yeah.
And that could be part of our team. There could be employees that might fit into that category.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes better to let people go, because if it's not working for you, it's probably not working for them. And you need to, you know, what we call free up their future to be able to move on to something better and allow you to create the space to fill it with someone who will either fit the culture of the business, follow the systems and procedures, and allow you to move forward with comfort.
I like to use the saying, where one door closes, another one opens. And I believe that from a positive and a negative perspective. Not that I like to focus on the negative, because I don't do that very much in my personal life or my business, but you know, it's life, and stuff happens, and sometimes we have control over it and sometimes we don't. So, you know, where something falls away from us or whatever, one door closes, another one opens. We just need to keep our eyes open and our feelers out to recognise the opportunities that are just around the corner when we open the door.
Sure.
Yeah.
The last one is where we can, and I know I do get involved a lot with the preparation of cash flow projections.
Yes, you do.
Some of your clients as well. And what we need to look at then is, do we have any unnecessary costs? It's a very brief exercise, but we can just look at things. Say, well, look, do I need the Lamborghini today, or can I wait another year or two before I get that? Maybe the work ute is a better option in the trade. So we look at that. We look at how we can cut unnecessary costs, eliminate the things that we don't need right now, and focus on the things that are productive. So is an expense going to help me to increase my sales at a decent profit margin? Yes, keep it. If it's something that's just more, again, possibly tied to a bit of ego or a bit of image, that is not necessary in the short term, when we're trying to understand why we're not going as good as we would like, maybe that's the time to cut it and then come back to it at a later date. So that's our bit of our checklist. It's not, as I say, it's not all inclusive, but it does help. And we've used it many times to help people come out of a struggle situation into abundance. Absolutely.
And one thing that I really want to talk to you about, like engaging in professional business coaching spaces and choosing the right person for you, it's really, really good to be with somebody that does not lock you into a contract, okay? You need to be really flexible here and work with somebody that works with you so that you still feel comfortable. You're progressing in your business, but you're not locked into a contract, okay? This too is sometimes unnecessary costs that don't need to be paid on a weekly or monthly basis. Step-by-step processes are really, really good and reachable goals. So don't set your goals too high in business. We want to be able to set them a little bit high, but realistically, reachably, reachable, so that we don't lose faith, so we don't start to struggle. And so if you are struggling and you are looking at signing a contract that's going to lock you into, $1,000 or $5,000 or whatever the case may be, really think twice and really do your research, because there's people out there like myself that don't lock you into contracts to then hold you accountable financially, so that if in 3 months' time you just say, oh, I just can't do this, or in 6 months' time, I just cannot do this, but you're locked into a 12-month contract, then you're paying something for 6 months that you no longer need or you will not even use.
You have to tie it into a value proposition, isn't it? It's like,
absolutely.
Whenever you start providing value to a client, then the relationship needs to change. And it's the same with your coach. So as long as you're getting value, you won't question the price. No, it's got nothing to do with dollars. It's all about value. So just keep focusing on that value proposition and hopefully continue to receive value. And if the coach, mentor, advisor, whoever it may be, is is good at their trade, then they'd be happy to do that for you, I'm sure.
Absolutely, because they know that they can actually make that happen for you, so that they don't have to lock you into a contract, because some people that I've worked with and some people that I know that are in the industry, well, I don't know them, but I know what they're doing in the industry, are locking people into contracts, and after 3 to 4, 5, 6 months, they're no longer, that kind of coaching no longer appeals to them. They don't want to do that type of coaching anymore, but they're locked into that contract and having to pay out hundreds and thousands of dollars, which is absolute ludicrous. You don't have to do it. You really, really don't. It's step-by-step processes. It's really, really easy. Just do your research. That's all I ask. Do you have any last words for our viewers?
Not really. I just think it's important for people who, if it's really not living up to your expectations, then don't wait too long. I think that's really important. Seek a second opinion, connect with people who might be able to help you. Hit you up on the webpage, drop you a line. I mean,
anybody can reach out to me. We've got workshops happening this year. I'm doing some introductory talks. So if you're wanting to get into business and you need to just have a little bit of more confidence in, ticking all the boxes, we've got all this stuff happening. So reach out and ask questions.
business is a game. It should
It
be
is.
fun.
It should be
If
fun.
it's not fun, then maybe you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
So hopefully that helps some of your listeners tonight that maybe just sitting back going, well, this is not really working for me. I'm not really sure what to do.
Yeah.
Now you know what to do.
Yep, exactly. So if you want to get in contact with me, you can visit my website, www.wellnessbusinessacademy.org, or you can find us on Facebook. My name's Kelly Kingston. This is Graham Donnelly, and we are from the Wellness Business Academy.
Have a great night.
Thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much, Sarah Watkins, Sarah Doll. Bye.